Hi,
How are ya?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What would be helpful today?
I wrote a few things down. I would like, I think, some support around my psych today.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how to write it to incorporate work with couples and individuals.
Okay.
It feels like, I mean, my niche feels like clear when it comes to couples and constellations and less clear when it comes to individuals, I think.
Okay.
And I
Tell
don't,
me about tell me about the couples niche and the individual niche.
in terms of couples, like I work with queer and trans folks. And in terms of couples work, it's a lot of people coming to me to figure out non monogamy.
Hmm.
It often becomes all sorts of other things, but that's the kind of start. It's often somebody who's avoidant, wanting polyamory, non monogamy, and an anxious person feeling like there's something wrong with them because they hate it.
Hmm. Got it. Okay.
Mhm. And
And
in
then, yeah, your individual niche, how does that differ?
individual niche, I feel like it's often non-men, like
Hmm.
women and non-binary trans folks, who have issues with boundaries,
Hmm.
who, yeah, people pleasing tendencies, lots of like enmeshment with family,
Hmm.
parents. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my first question is, w- what if you went with one niche for your psychology today instead of two?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah.
I think it would simplify things, make it less confusing.
Yeah.
Especially since you have so little room in psychology today to explain things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a thing I was thinking about. I did recently rewrite it. It's like a short blurb so far because I just wanted something other than what I had.
Hmm.
And I upped my prices and I've gotten one person reach out who
Hmm.
didn't um, follow through on a consult once I provided logistics.
Okay.
And it's like usually I'll have at least a few in January.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it's been like I have like some fears around the money stuff.
Hmm.
I feel like everyone in my community of therapists charges way less money than me.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And so it's like I feel I'm like going back and forth and I don't want to change it. And I'm like, I can't also put a number that's less than people pay for like now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So I don't know what to do about that.
So a good question might be, is your ideal client the one who can afford this fee looking for help on psychology today, or are they looking elsewhere?
That's a great question. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
'Cause depending on where you are, like psychology today can be so hit or miss for people. Like in some areas, it's hopping. It's great. People get referrals all the time. Other areas, and these can be equally large cities.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a dead zone.
Yeah.
So the fact that you had success with it at a lower price point and with different copy may mean that that price point and that copy were more indicative of the people using psychology today.
Mhm.
Um, which are often people who are Googling because psychology today has taken up, them and BetterHelp and Talkspace. Like they've kind of snagged the market of the first few listings,
Mhm.
whether that's through Google Ads or just regular old, they ranked on Google.
Mhm.
Um, so it might be writing like specific blog posts and SEOing those so that instead of just maybe ethical non-monogamy, your city therapy, they might come upon like how to tell your partner you want to be non-monogamous,
Mhm.
like that kind of a thing. So That way you can get a little bit more, leverage isn't the word I'm looking for, but basically like leverage in that they are getting to read from you and not just see a bunch of listings.
Mhm. I don't even know where else to advertise, to be honest, besides
Okay.
like the listservs that I'm connected to
Mhm.
and Site Today.
Yeah. So the marketing fundamentals course lays out a bunch of different things. The most important thing with that is that you're doing things you actually enjoy. So if you hate public speaking, for instance, like ignore that whole section. Don't even look at it. If you're open to public speaking, then it's looking at who could you get in front of that is to offer a talk that has a lot of your ideal clients.
Mhm.
Um, and that could be if there's like a university nearby with an LGBTQIA center, like it could be there. A lot of college students' parents are the ones paying for therapy and can't afford it.
Yeah.
So there are all these different kind of ins based on your specific niche that could be really, really helpful.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like I'm also just working through my own feelings and like I feel like there are so many judgments in this world
Mhm,
about the like choices we make, like
mhm,
fees and all sorts of things. And
mhm.
really what I am seeing is like a lot of people who are undercharging, but I'm like, great, you have a tech husband
Right, right.
and I do not. And like that
Mhm,
doesn't get named. But there's like these, I don't know, feelings and opinions that get tied to whatever the number is.
mhm.
Mm.
Do you have a community of other therapists who get it?
No,
Okay.
I did like lean in, make bank
Mhm,
a while ago, and I like have connected through things like that with people, but I don't have anything local. Like
mhm,
there were a couple people that were a part of that who are in Toronto.
mhm,
So I have connected with them, and I had a meeting with one, like a just like a coffee date with one who was also just talking about how hard it is and
mhm.
like how the community feels lacking. I also
Yeah.
know like people in the US charge a lot more than Canadians, is
Mm,
what I'm noticing.
mhm. Yeah, there are a lot of big differences because the healthcare systems are so different too, that it feels like y'all could charge more, right? Because your healthcare system subsidizes some of it, it's my understanding, for some people.
Not
Or can
really,
you
but
be okay, got it.
yeah,
It's kind of like the US healthcare center system that way. Okay.
yeah,
Like pretends to be there.
yeah.
Okay. So I think it doesn't necessarily need to be local support of people who get it. It may be you reconnect with some of your lean and make big folks. It may be you get into the Facebook group at the party one and like just be like, hey, I just want to hear from the other private pay people who may either be facing or fearing judgment from others. And I just love to lift each other up.
Yeah.
Are you getting actual pushback from other therapists, or is it more the fear of that pushback?
I think it's like more underhanded comments in
Mm,
conversations. Yeah.
mhm,
It's not direct.
mm,
And like I feel grounded in a lot of ways because I'm like, No, this is like the math. Like I
mhm,
don't feel bad charging what I need to live.
mhm.
It's just that that number is high for a lot of people, and that brings up feelings for me because it's like, uh, yeah, and I try to remember like I need 8 people who can afford that. I don't need,
Right.
thousands of people who can afford that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I've worked through a lot of that because it's like, no, though that's the math of like how much life costs.
Right.
As also the person bringing in the income in my family, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it means also like it impacts like referrals because I feel like it's a lot of the people that I'm connected to and close to. I have a lot of like friend therapists they charge way less than me. So when they send me somebody, I feel like people are getting shocked by the numbers.
Mhm. And I think it's like anticipating that a certain percentage of people are going to be shocked by the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like expecting that, and maybe even right now, expecting that the majority of people will be shocked by the number so that it's less jarring for you if they are.
Hmm.
And when they aren't those times, then it's kind of like, okay, cool, this is wonderful. And you can just kind of smoothly move on to the next step after telling them the fee.
Hmm.
And when they're shocked, I'm guessing you already have a script for like how you manage that, or is that something? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got that script. And yeah, that's going to happen. And I think seeing it as like, this is not punishment in any way for having a higher fee. This
Mhm.
is just not everybody can do it. And that's why you're giving them great referrals.
Yeah. I think I'm just like, there's also fear. Like, I've never gone this far into January with only one person connecting.
Mhm.
Um,
Before you raised your rates, how many clients did you need?
I was seeing 20
Okay.
a week, and that was fine before I went on leave and like recovering from everything that led to leave. I would like to see 15. I'm seeing like 6 to 12.
Okay. So you're in that 8 range.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And there are some weeks when you're really close to the max you want.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So before, when you were seeing 20, like you needed more referrals in January than you currently need when you really need 8, but would like 15.
Yeah, that's true.
So I
Yeah.
think part of it is that perspective shift of it needs to be fewer people calling now because otherwise you're going to get over full or you're going to be full and having to like call people back and tell them no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, like, how long do I wait until I'm starting to think that there's an issue with the site today?
I think it might be investing your time in other marketing strategies. Like you can leave the site today up as is.
Yeah.
Just make sure that first line is so specific because that's what people see. So
Mm-hmm.
like I work with LGBT or like, did you say LGBT or trans and non-binary
Yeah,
specifically?
queer and trans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I work with queer and trans folks
Yeah.
like exploring the idea of
Mm-hmm.
non-monogamy. Um, like boom, your ideal clients will find you, and those who are like, wait, what? Will not. So is that what it said before when you were getting more referrals?
No, it was actually like all the things that through your stuff and other stuff I learned is all the wrong stuff was like
Uh-huh.
I. Like
Uh-huh.
this is what who I am, these are my values, this is
Mm-hmm.
how I practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but some of that was also bringing in, I feel like a lot of young social justice activists who wanted to like debate me on my politics
Oh.
and changing some of that. I was like, okay, this is, well, one, that's not what therapy is
Mm-hmm.
or what we're going to do. And so tweaking it a bit kind of weeded some of those folks out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, yeah, all really about me and who I work with. But it was like 2 sentences of the kind of issues that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the fee was 175 and 250, like
Mm-hmm.
175 for individuals, 250 for couples.
Mm-hmm.
And I bumped it to 2 and 350.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the math that I need. Like those
Yeah.
are the numbers I need. And I
Mm-hmm.
have, yeah, one person reached out and then didn't connect when I said, great, here's like the logistical stuff. If that
Mm-hmm.
works for you, let's book something.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, are you wanting more individual or are you wanting more couples right now?
I would love more couples.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I would keep it couples right now on Psychology Today. And then if you're like, all right, my couple slots are full, I want individual, you can have 2 different profiles that you basically like copy paste
Hmm.
as needed. And that also helps, allegedly helps the algorithm when you change your profile. They're supposed to show it to more people, allegedly.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about their algorithms, company wise, but
Mhm.
that's what people find. So if you're doing that as needed, then you're keeping the right balance in your practice.
Would you take away anything about individual work?
I might have like one section of like contact me for information about individual therapy as well, or something like that, but I wouldn't go on about it because the niches aren't overlapping enough for it to not confuse people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we want them to feel really locked in at about exactly who you serve.
Yeah. Yeah. The revamp I wrote, like, um, many come to me for individual work when dot dot dot, and then couples seek me out when dot dot dot. But
Mhm.
maybe I should just focus on one.
Yeah, I would focus on one and I would just make sure that very first line is a grabber.
Okay. Okay. Do you ever come across people who just can't get people at certain fees, depending on where they are?
It all comes down to marketing. Like it really does. So it's a matter of just tweaking that marketing over time. I mean, certainly people who feel plateaued and stuck for
Yeah.
sure. But then
Yeah.
we just dig in on that marketing so that they can get clients in the door.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so you've got a website, I'm assuming. No? Okay.
No, I'm working on it.
Okay, yeah, step
Yeah.
1. I would spend 10 minutes tweaking your psychology today and spend all the rest of the time because
Yeah.
everybody wants to check out your website, especially if you're charging a premium fee. They
Yeah.
wanna get to know you a little bit before they even call or email.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's like half written, but feels really vulnerable and terrifying.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And know that, like, if you want somebody to look at that, like, we have options to help you,
Yeah.
within abundance. So just, like, you can reach out to help or hello, and we'll guide you to whatever service would be the best fit.
Yeah.
But, um, I think, like, vulnerable sometimes it helps for people to write, like, the vulnerable version that feels right. Also write one that is not so vulnerable,
Hmm.
that feels more safe. And if the vulnerable one feels too vulnerable to post, post the safe one. And over time, once you're really used to like it being out there, you can sub in the vulnerable stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more work, but if it gets something up and out there faster, like I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in talking with a friend about it, I think I realized the vulnerability is about like therapist community, and
Mm,
they were like, are you worried that this is not going to bring in the clients that you want? I was like, no, this is definitely going to bring in the clients that I want. They're like, great, then that's the thing to write.
yeah.
And like work through the therapist community stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna butcher this, but I've seen this thing of like, don't bother with anybody's opinion who isn't writing you a paycheck.
Yeah.
Basically, like they can, if they have it to where they don't have to make as much per session, good for them. Like I'm glad their life is set up that way.
Yeah.
Um, but that's potentially coming from a place of privilege. And um, I think it would be okay to point that out if anybody was ever outwardly snarky with you about it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, good. You don't seem like a wilting flower, but
No. Yeah, I think it's just hard when it brings up stuff for me. Like I have a working class background.
Mm,
So I have like, tender spots for folks around money stuff and that I
mhm,
need to not bring into consults.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing to bolster that or to keep that from coming in?
I think I just acknowledge it in myself, and really it makes it a lot easier to remember like, no, these are the numbers that I need. Like
Yes. It's
I'm not going to
math.
feel bad for paying my bills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to be a great therapist if I'm focusing on the fact that I can't afford my life. And it's
Right.
not like I can't afford a yacht. It's I can't afford the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I'm not going to be showing up well.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that makes it a lot easier. It's like, no, it's just math.
Yeah.
Like the world is fucked and we live in it.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not getting cheaper this world. I have
No.
yet to see it get more affordable than it currently is.
Yeah.
So, we need to be able to take care of ourselves and not be stressing out about how we're going to pay our mortgage while we're in session.
Yeah. Or like take 1 week off or have a sick day or,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
yeah, all those things that people don't think about if they go somewhere for a
Mhm.
9 to.
And I will also put it out there that people who are saying underhanded things about your fees may also, if they're not now, may later be like, I kind of admire that, or I wish I could do that too,
Yeah.
in a way that doesn't feel like that when you're at the receiving end of it,
Yeah.
of judgment. But I've had a number of people come through our programs who are like, I used to be that therapist in the Facebook groups who like chewed people out for private pay.
Mhm.
And I get it now. And
Yeah.
so people do change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like it's like, no, I'm not willing for the cost to be my well being.
Hmm.
So I'm considering my capacity and I don't think it should be a luxury.
Right.
Like the way that our world is set up it is, and a lot of people do have to do things beyond capacity. And if I can avoid it, I will.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of the whole point of being in business for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I worked hard to be here so that I could work less.
Hmm.
Like I want other parts of my life to um, be more central.
Yeah. I love it.
Mhm. Yeah. This has been helpful. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you need some love, seriously, that Facebook group of ours is really sweet.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like the others. So hop in there if you need some support. If like if you do have a conversation with another therapist that's just like, ugh,
Yeah. Yeah. I will do that.
awesome. Very
Thank you.
cool. Sure. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.